noise.
Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial weekend. Let me turn this light on. Boom. It's like, why didn't you do that before you started the video? Good question. Why don't you restart the video and record it with the lights in place and turned on? Good question. I just don't feel like it. Alright. Not everybody had such a great Memorial weekend. I'm sure you have heard or maybe even seen video that surfaced Monday and is now catching fire a little bit of a black man that was killed by the Minneapolis Police Department in a disgusting use of force, overuse of force. George Floyd was being arrested for forging checks, apparently, is what they're claiming. And we can, from surveillance video that has now surfaced, we can see the moment that police begin to start the arresting process. They walk him from a vehicle to a sidewalk and they sit him down. And then the next video that we have is of a police officer with his knee in George Floyd's. George Floyd is laying on his belly on the street, and the officer has his knee pressed down on George's neck. Now, obviously, there's been huge outcry about this. There's been a lot of people. I'm trying to be very careful here because it's a very sensitive topic, but there's been a lot of people jumping to conclusions about details that, frankly, we just don't know yet. We don't know. We weren't there. We were not involved in the investigation that led to George Floyd being arrested in the first place. We just don't know. Okay? But just to give you a little bit more detail, I'm not going to play the video. I'm not going to play it. Out of respect for George, out of respect for his family and that community, I'm not going to play the video. I don't think any of us are interested in watching a brutal overuse of force. What we're all here for is to try and make sense of all of this. What is really going on? Blaze TV reporting a widely shared viral video shows the moment a Minneapolis police officer kneels on the neck of a motionless, groaning man in the street. The man, who was reportedly a suspect of a forgery in progress, can be heard telling the officer that he cannot breathe and that everything hurts. The man later dies. As highlighted by CBS News, the incident took place on Monday night. The unnamed officer responds to a call of a forgery in progress where he encounters a suspect. Video of the incident begins by showing the suspect on the ground. We don't know what happened to get to that point, but he's on the ground. The officer has his knee on the suspect's neck. And I did watch the video. It's very hard to watch. The suspect is crying out. He's saying, "Please, I can't breathe. My stomach hurts. My neck hurts. Everything hurts." What ends up happening is that George Floyd passes out before an ambulance can get to him. They take him in the ambulance, and allegedly, he passes away in the ambulance on his way to the hospital. You know, I can hear it right now. I can see it in the comments. I can read your mind. I can read what you're thinking right now. Who does this white guy think he is? Talking about the murder of a black man. You don't get to have an opinion on that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. If you're claiming to be against racism, But then you're going to come on here and tell me that I don't get to have an opinion about a horrific tragedy that happened in my country because of the color of my skin. It's you who has a problem. Not me. Not me. I get to have an opinion. Yes, in fact, my voice does get to be heard. It's kind of the whole idea. It's kind of the whole point of the great experiment known as the United States of America. Everybody's voice matters. Everybody gets to have an opinion. I don't know where, somewhere along the lines, we got mixed up and got brainwashed into thinking that, oh, well, this isn't appropriate for me to talk about. Why? Why not? Does your opinion not matter as much as the next guy? I don't care if you're white, black, blue, purple, green, yellow. I don't care. Your opinion matters. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you don't get to have an opinion based upon the color of your skin. You're part of this country just as much as anybody else. And when something bad happens, we need to speak up. Voice our opinions. Not stay quiet. That doesn't help anybody. What really gets my blood boiling is when people, because of the color of George's skin and because of the color of one of the police officers that we see, because of the color of his skin, it's automatically a race thing. Without having any more details, without knowing anything about any of the police officer's personal life, which, by the way, people are claiming it was 4 white police officers. No, it wasn't. There's at least one light-skinned man in the mix. There's at least one Asian man in the mix. Very clearly. Clear as day. It was not 4 white men. The man who actually had his neck, or had his knee on the guy's neck, was white. He was. But all the other officers were standing there watching him. Just to give you a little idea of what's happening. There's the white officer. That's George Floyd. Obviously, it looks way excessive, and just, if they had to subdue him like that for, I don't know, 10 seconds, just to get him to calm down a little bit. Once again, we weren't there. We don't know what happened, but it seems extremely excessive because of the fact that they held him in this position for a long period of time. This officer right here is standing right there for this entire video. He's standing right here talking to bystanders, saying that's why you don't do drugs, kids. So there might have been drugs involved, which could have led to George Floyd being not as easily detained. But like, he's clearly an Asian man, okay? You're not going to tell me that's a white man. And if you listen to the video, you can hear another officer's voice coming from probably this area. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm willing to bet more than anything it is this officer right here. A light-skinned man. He's not white. No, he's not. You can hear his voice. You can tell. I'm trying to find... I saw a better picture of this one right here. It makes me mad when we try to jump to conclusions and it really does an injustice when we try to use George Floyd's unfortunate, tragic killing. These officers should be held accountable. Yes, absolutely. Terrible police work. As a matter of fact, if you go into the use of force for the Minneapolis Police Department, all their codes and conducts and policies. In the very first, very first statement, Section A of 5-300, use of force, the purpose, sanctity of life, and the protection of the public shall be the cornerstones of the MPD's use of force policy. What happened to sanctity of life? The mayor of Minneapolis came out and said, let's see, where is it? There's the mayor. He was milking the race card too. Here it is though. This is significant. The technique that was used is not permitted. This technique of placing your knee on top of a suspect's neck. That type of use of force is not permitted. It's not a technique that the officers get trained in on. And our chief has been very clear on that piece. There is no reason to apply that kind of pressure with a knee to someone's neck. That's what we're all saying. Now, this is my stance right now. It may change. More details might come out. We might discover that the police officer that had his knee on his neck was actually racist. We don't know yet. We can't jump there yet. It's more dangerous to jump there. It's harder to pull that lie or that misinformation back out of the public once it's already there. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to spread that yet before we even know it. You want my humble opinion? I think it's just a bad job policing. Just bad police work. Look at they're all just standing around watching. I don't understand really why they just held him down there for so long. Maybe if you're somebody in law enforcement, you can explain that to me. It seems excessive. Like, just get him in the vehicle, right? That's the entire goal of the arrest, is to get him safely into the vehicle. Doesn't make sense to me. Here's surveillance footage of the moment the arresting began. You see, they're getting him out of the vehicle, walking him over to the side of the street, onto the sidewalk. That is the light-skinned officer. You can't tell me that man is white. You can't tell me that. This is not a race thing. This is not white cops conspiring to kill black individuals. I don't think so. Evidence just does not show that yet. Oh, my goodness. I saw this article. It's published in 2016, so three and a half years ago. Minneapolis police reveal changes to use of force policy. Minneapolis police officers will be trained to exhaust all reasonable means in diffusing potentially violent encounters before resorting to force under new department rules unveiled Monday. I have a feeling that that more details will come out of this. I mean, it just happened a couple days ago. There's an investigation right now. The 4 police officers involved have been released from their jobs. They've been separated from the police department, and good on them. I think they're all guilty. To be honest, they should be guilty of killing a man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You saw the man. You heard the man saying he can't breathe. You were standing on his neck. The other guy was standing there watching. You were all standing around watching him when he said he couldn't breathe for several minutes. How do you explain that? I don't understand. And the mayor is saying there's no training of that in your... That's never a technique that was taught to you. So I don't understand where that's coming from. Let him go. Put him in jail. They should be. Absolutely. But is this a case of racism? I don't think so. But where was it going? Where was it going? I don't remember. Let me know what your thinks. Let me know. Let me know what your thinks are. You got any thinks on this topic? Let me know down in the comments below. I was gonna say, the investigation is still happening right now. I have a feeling we're definitely gonna get more details on this at some point. They may prove that this was an act of racism. They may prove that it wasn't. But we don't need to jump there right now because we don't know. We weren't there. We have no idea. We weren't part of the investigation. So why would you jump there already? I don't understand. It's an injustice, really it is, to try to use somebody's death to promote your own agenda. That's clearly what you're doing because we don't have the details. Once we have the details, then we can make those distinctions. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you're subscribed. Hit all notifications. All notifications. Don't let YouTube decide what you want to watch. Take control of your life right now. Make sure that you hit that bell and turn on all notifications. I will catch you next time. Until then, see you later. How much longer do we have to keep wearing these stupid masks? Well, I saw that they might even be more dangerous because the bacteria resonates in the... Craig, you forgot to cut the camera again. Would somebody stop the hammer?